Creating an NFT is much more than just art and a smart contract. There are many other options and technologies to consider, like, for example, which blockchain to choose, how to generate thousands of assets, where to store those assets, how to create and run an allowlist, how to create and where to host a mint page, and all that even before writing a single line of a smart contract. I will answer all of these questions in this video. Let's go. Hi, I'm Radek. I'm a developer advocate at QuickNode, and let's start looking at all these questions and all the options. The first one is, and it's a big one, which blockchain you should use. There can be many reasons why you should decide on one or the other blockchain, but one of the main reasons is activity, where the people really are. And this is a chart that shows you where the activity really is. So the vast majority, and especially this year, is Ethereum. It's not even close. But there could be reasons why you don't want to go to Ethereum. So let's exclude Ethereum and see where the rest of activity is going on. So when excluding Ethereum, the second biggest player is undoubtedly Solana. But after that, it's anybody's guess. Currently, there is no clear number 3 player in terms of trading volume in NFTs. So especially if you don't need a large pre-existing NFT trading market, you can focus on different aspects of blockchain than just the trading volume. These are the major blockchains to consider. Let's go through pros and cons for each of them, as well as NFT marketplaces. The first one is obviously Ethereum, the one with the largest NFT trading volume, where the majority of NFT action is happening. It's the default chain for the majority of users, often the one and only that they have ever known or that they have configured in their wallet. Practically all highest value collections are on Ethereum, and the average sale prices are much higher on Ethereum than on other blockchains. As for cons, it's definitely more expensive to mint and trade on Ethereum than on any other blockchain. It's not ideal for cheap or free projects or projects that are often traded on the secondary market. And because it's more expensive to mint and trade, because of also gas wars that are often happening for popular NFTs, many users are priced out of Ethereum and of trading on Ethereum and just don't participate. The major NFT marketplaces for Ethereum are the big one, the OG OpenSea, then the relative newcomer LooksRare, and also one of the older ones, Rarible. Next on the list is Solana, a clear number 2 player in the NFT space. When excluding Ethereum, they have the most volume by far. The pros of Solana, and actually of the majority of blockchains other than Ethereum, is that it's faster and it has cheaper fees than Ethereum, and it's also catching up in volume to Ethereum. Now for cons, it has more often network outages, due to, for example, denial of service attacks or other reasons. Also, the royalties on the secondary market are usually higher than Ethereum, so you have to give away a higher percentage when trading. The major NFT marketplaces on Solana are Magic Eden, Solanart, Solsea, and also OpenSea has now a whole section for Solana NFTs. Next on the list is Polygon. It's a layer 2 sidechain for Ethereum network, so it gets to benefit from Ethereum security, but at the same time it also has much smaller fees and it's faster. For these reasons, it's much better for free mint types of NFTs or cheap NFTs, or for projects that need a lot of interaction with the blockchain, a lot of trading activity on the secondary market. As for cons, it's more difficult in onboarding onto the Polygon blockchain. It requires additional network configuration. It requires also an additional token to complete transactions, thematic token. So there's significantly more work involved in onboarding users. The major NFT marketplaces are, again, first OpenSea, lets you trade in Polygon Matic, and also NFTrade. Phantom is next on the list. It's a level 1 blockchain, so it's a little less secure than Ethereum due to scale, but it still has faster and cheaper transactions. The marketplaces on Phantom, PainSwap, NFT Key, or Artium, one of the bigger ones. Avalanche, a level 1 proof-of-stake blockchain with low cost and fast transactions, but also a smaller NFT user base. The main marketplace is NFTrade. BNB chain, next on the list. With the growing volume recently, the main NFT marketplaces on BNB chain are Binance NFT and Refinable. And quickly for the last few blockchains to consider, Optimism is itself low-cost, lightning-fast Ethereum level 2 blockchain. The main marketplace for Optimism is Quixotic. Arbitrum is another level 2 network, so fast and cheap. And the major NFT marketplaces, Stratos, Lootex, or Tofu NFT. And the last one is Flow. It's a small one in volume at the moment, but it's an interesting one in a way that it's a blockchain of choice for enterprise companies, and this is what they are optimizing for. So when there is a big push in mainstream enterprises entering the NFT market, Flow is a blockchain that they are going to consider because they are building specifically for that. And here are the major NFT marketplaces: NBA NFT project, which had very big volume last year, or for example the UFC NFT product as well. So the marketplaces that the enterprises build on top of that blockchain. Okay, so now you have decided on the blockchains, or on a few of them. Now what next? Let's say you have a PFP, profile picture type of NFT project. So you need to generate assets. You need to generate thousands or even tens of thousands of assets. How do you do that? There are multiple options to choose from. Some of them are more manual, where you have much more control, but you also need to dive into code deeper. Some of them are more automated, but then you have a little smaller control of the outcome. Let's go through the available options. The first option is Hashlip's Art Engine. What these engines do is they take your art, which you have sliced into different layers, and then combine those layers to generate NFTs. So for example, here on the left, you have different layers that then you can combine and create randomly generated eyes. Hashlip's Art Engine is one of the better known projects in the space, and it's fairly complicated in a way that you can control practically every aspect of your project. So for example, you start with configuring your layers. It could be you have a layer for a head, for a mouth, eyes, eyeswear, and headwear. You can have as many as you want. And then you have all the other configurations, like for example, the layers order, what comes first, what gets further into the background. For specific layers, it's the name of the layer, the name of that specific layer option, the opacity, everything else. And then the outcome that you get, and this is what you need to create your NFT collection, is that you get the images, the folder with all the images. So for example, if you configure your NFT collection that you want to have 10,000 NFTs, you get the folder with 10,000 images and then another folder with 10,000 JSON files. Those JSON files are crucial for describing what that NFT is specifically, what features it has, what traits, how rare it is, and everything else. So this is an example for a JSON file. It has DNA, it has the name, it could be just a number or it could be a specific name, a description, where the image is located, the dates, and then all the attributes. So the background is black, eyeballs are red, and so on. So all the traits are there, and each NFT item has a corresponding JSON file. Then if we go to OpenSea, for example, and look at any NFT item, for example, let's look at a cool cat. Here are these properties: body, face, hats, shirts. This is all based here. So for example, this would be body, hats, face, shirts. And based on our configurations, that specific trait is, for example, only 2% of cool cats in Cool Cats NFT collection have pixel face, or only 2 have arrow going through their head. All these elements and all these traits and all this rarity that give value to your NFTs is derived from these JSON files. So these are the 2 major outcomes from generating assets, is generating those images and generating corresponding JSON files for those images. Once you have those, you are ready to take the next step, which is upload your NFT collection to the marketplaces and start configuring it. Generative NFT art is another tool that can be used to achieve the same results, but it's a little bit simpler tool. So if you are not that proficient at programming or you need a simpler collection, you can go with this one. And this is the sample outcome. Then there are also tools that are a little bit more automated and require less programming knowledge. And OneMint is NFT platform with a set of tools to generate, deploy, and mint your NFT collection. And NFT art generator is one of the tools available. Same as previously, it achieved the same result, which is generating the images, generating the JSON files, and you can set the rarity of each layer and then the rarity of each specific attribute in that specific layer. For example, to quickly start checking what it does, I've created a simple background layer, and the chance for you to get a small shark is just 1%. You are most likely to get a big shark, which is 70%, and mid shark is 29%. And then you can configure teeth, eyes, accessory, or whatever else you want, and then start generating the assets. So the tool does what you want, and it also has a free version, but a free version is fairly limited, and it also adds a watermark. So if you want to do anything serious with it, you need to go with a paid version. Bueno is another NFT toolkit similar to OneMint, and it has also an NFT generator, which is what we need for the generating assets. Straightforward. You upload your art, you set the rules and rarity, preview if everything works fine, and export the images and corresponding JSON files. Another tool to consider is NFTinator. Does the same, generates and exports, but it's also free. And the last option to consider is a Figma plugin, which can generate all the artwork and all the JSON straight in Figma. It's a paid plugin though. Okay, so now we have chosen a blockchain and we have generated all the assets, all the images and all the JSON files with all the metadata. What next? before we can launch our NFT project, we need to store that metadata, store the artwork and JSON files somewhere. Then we need to build a buzz around our project. So we also need some kind of a tool for creating and managing allow lists. And then we also need a web page where someone can go and mint our project so that we can start selling out. It's all cool, but where do we store the images and the metadata files? We can store it practically anywhere. It could be even Dropbox or Google Drive or AWS or even a $5 shared host. But if we are going into all this trouble of selling on-chain, of keeping the information on-chain, on having the proof of ownership on-chain, then it would also make sense to store the artwork and all the metadata associated with the artwork also in a decentralized and immutable way. Otherwise, if we are keeping it on our even Dropbox, for example, and then something happens, or we just accidentally delete the file, then that link that is stored on-chain pointing to the artwork on our Dropbox suddenly points to nowhere. And all we have is a link to an empty space, which is not very valuable. But also at the same time, we cannot store our artwork on-chain. It's too expensive. Storage on the blockchain is prohibitively expensive. It is counted in bytes, not in megabytes. So what's the alternative between keeping everything on-chain and keeping everything on a shared host? The answer is decentralized storage. The way it works is that there are many storage providers, like individual storage providers. I could be a storage provider and I could connect to a network that provides decentralized storage, and I could, for example, dedicate a few gigabytes or however much I want to that specific network. And then files from that network are stored on my drive and are also replicated on multiple other drives. So even if my drive goes down or something happens to it or it gets deleted, it still is in multiple other places. So this way it's decentralized and immutable as well. So this is where IPFS comes in. IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System, so it shows their ambition to be available also between planets, not just between any geographical locations on Earth. And NFT storage is a decentralized storage based on IPFS and built specifically for storing NFTs. It is also completely free and leverages IPFS and Filecoin as well. And the way and the reason that it is free is that when providing storage, individual providers get many more block rewards if they specifically attribute that storage for NFTs. When they do that, they get 10 times more rewards. So there is a financial incentive for storage providers to provide space specifically for NFTs. And as long as Filecoin is alive, the NFT storage will be free, which makes it the best possible way for now to store your NFT metadata and your NFT artwork. Another option is Pinata. Before there was NFT storage, there was Pinata. Also, Pinata is not specifically just for NFTs. It's for storing data on IPFS generally. It also has more features than just storage. It's also paid. It's not free, so you can go with either NFT storage or Pinata and you have all your storage needs sorted for you. Now we have the blockchain to build on. We have all the assets and we have stored the assets in a decentralized way. So now we have only a few steps until we can start selling our NFT. One is a smart contract, but that's a topic in and of itself, and that will be a subject of a separate episode, which is going to be the next episode. But considering that we have that smart contract, there are only two things left, which is first, you need to start building buzz around your project so that when you start minting, there's already a community behind your project that wants to buy what you're selling. And also then they need a place to buy, which is a minting page and which is a website. So let's see what we can do with an allow list and how to start building buzz. For creating and managing allow lists, there are two tools that you can use, Premint and Mint Party. Premint is a larger and better known project. And the way that it works is that you can define who exactly will be able to get onto the allow list based on a set of different criteria. For example, it could be how much ETH or other tokens they have in their wallet so that they are ready to buy and they have enough to buy. Another one is to start creating community, so they need to follow your Twitter account, or they need to be a part of your Discord server, or even, for example, they need to own a specific NFT to be able to be on the allow list for your NFT. Once they meet all the criteria, they connect the wallet, connect Twitter and Discord, they can complete the registration, and then now they are on your allow list, and now you have a way to talk to these people, to identify these people, to create community, to create buzz among them, and then they will create buzz in the greater community. So that's how you start growing your project before you even enable minting. Mint Party is a similar tool. It has a little bit different feature set, but all the major things are the same. So again, you can ask people to connect to your Twitter, to be part of your Discord, to have enough ETH or Matic or whatever else in their wallet. But also there's, for example, an additional criteria like you need to like, retweet, and tag 1, 2, or 3 friends. I don't like that feature, but it does work, so it also can be a requirement. Other than just the allow list, you have a few more features, like you can automatically DM your followers, you can schedule your giveaways, and you can automate many other tasks that you would otherwise need to do manually, and it would take you a lot of time. Both Premint and Mint Party are paid tools, so check the set of features that you need, check the prices, decide on one of them, and start building the community and engaging with it in a meaningful way. Now, we have practically everything. We have our whole project, blockchain, we have all the assets, we have stored the artwork, we have a community, they are engaged. Now we need to launch the project and to enable minting. For that, we need at least one page, which could be a landing page with a minting option, or it could be the whole website where there is also a page to mint NFTs. So how to do that? One of the options would be to use one of multiple NFT toolsets available, toolsets that take you from zero to launched project, but I wouldn't use that option because for everything that these projects provide, what they do is that they take a cut of your minting price, could be a percentage or a fixed fee. So when they provide you that minting page, they also take percentage away from your project. So I would rather do it manually than use these projects. But if you don't know how to code, you can go that way. It's just that it's better to have a total control of everything and also not give away what you have earned. One of the tools to create an NFT minting dApp is Hashlip's NFT minting dApp, which is part of Hashlip's toolset that has already been discussed. And even when you do everything yourself and you do everything manually, there is only a few things that you need to configure, like a contract address, your chosen blockchain, marketplace, and a few other things, and you're ready to go. Once you configure everything, you also need to customize the way it looks, but you have all the code for that. And this is a sample page created with this library. So you can connect to the minting app, it will then show how many NFTs have already been minted. You can choose how many you want to mint and then buy and confirm with your wallet. All you need to do is enter the configuration variables and customize the way the page looks, which is simple HTML, CSS, and maybe some JavaScript. If you don't want to use this minting app, there are multiple others. When you enter minting NFTs into GitHub, you have multiple public repositories. This way you keep 100% control over your project and don't give any percentage of your revenue to any other tool or to anyone else. And that's it. You are ready to roll. So let's recap. What technology do you need to deploy an NFT project other than a smart contract, which we will discuss in the next episode? So first you need to choose a blockchain. If you want volume, you'll go with Ethereum or Solana. If you have other needs or your users are on a different blockchain, you can go with something else. Then you prepare all your assets for generating NFTs. You need to have your assets in layers. So one layer for one feature could be head, one layer for another feature like background and so on. And you decide on rarity for each of these features, and then use one of the tools to generate all the assets based on the rarity. And the outcome that you have is the folder with, like, for example, 10,000 images and another folder with 10,000 files with the metadata for each of these NFTs. Once you have that, then you store all that, the metadata and the artwork, in a decentralized way on nft.storage. And you start building buzz around your project by creating allow lists and creating different criteria who will be eligible for a place on the allow list. Then you need to create a website or a landing page with a minting feature so that when the time comes, everybody will be able to go there, see how many NFTs are available to mint, choose the number of NFTs that they can mint, could be 1, 2, or however many you want, and give you ETH, give you Solana, give you anything else, and to mint out your project. Does it seem like a lot? Does it seem like something fairly simple? I don't know, guess it probably depends on how you look at these things. But you have all the steps here, you know what you need to do step by step, and as the outcome, you have a functional NFT project. Next episode will be about the smart contract, so see you soon.